Stay City Apart Hotels. Half apartment, half hotel. Warm beds, comfy sofas, and fully equipped kitchens. We offer guests more, so you can do more. Cook, sleep, work, play. Welcoming, accommodating, and big beds for jumping. Smart travellers choose Stay City because Stay City is the smart choice. Stay City, half apartment, half hotel, all across Europe. Save 10% every time you book at staycity.com.
We're delighted to extend the partnership with Go Ahead Ireland. They're an organisation that serves communities all over Dublin and helps serve our club members around the county, and it's been a brilliant partnership for the last 3 years, and we're delighted to extend for a further 2 years.
Like us, Dublin GAA are embedded in their community, so it was a really natural fit. For us, it was important to find a partner that was inclusive, but also had that community identity, and that's exactly what we found in Dublin GAA. Since we started the partnership, they've been really easy to work with, and we're really excited to continue the journey together.
In those 3 years, we actually accomplished a lot with Dublin GAA. We were privileged to be able to work with both local and national charities with them, as well as working on several GAA initiatives.
This partnership allows us to support Club League and Championship with initiatives such as our Dubs TV live streaming platform. We try and stream as many games as possible, particularly during the championship season where we can from a logistical point of view around grounds, and that is something we will continue to try and deliver over the coming years and keep enhancing club championship product and club leagues around the county across all 4 codes.
In the coming months, we're going to be continuing growing our services. And while we do that, that means that we'll be serving more GAA community clubs than ever before.
This year alone, we're going to be introducing the Development Fund for Accessibility as part of our partnership, which is going to see core infrastructure at Dublin GAA developed. In the summer, we're also introducing the Go Ahead Ireland Dublin LGFA Summer Skills Camps, which will be held in July and August.
As Dublin's best performing public bus operator, we're going to continue to work really hard on delivering for our customers and our communities.
One of my favourite places to grab a coffee in Dublin is Bua. It's one of these kind of COVID coffee trucks that popped up, and it's kind of developed into this bit of a social hub. I'll always find myself being drawn back to social fabric. It's just a beautiful place to go. They always have consistently good food there. Bar 1661. So I love watching them make the cocktails, shake it up, garnish it, serve it. Howth village itself is a lovely little kind of seaside town. The Gravity Bar up on the top floor of the storehouse, and it's just an amazing place, an amazing view of Dublin City. Definitely visit Temple Bar and take in what's there. My advice would be to try your best to see other parts of the city. Brian Fenton, this is my Dublin.
It has to be Tang on Abbey Street. You can't beat their flatbreads with the chickpeas and spicy chicken. It's Irish owned, great food, great people. Shoe Lane beside Tara Street train station. It was close to Trinity where I went to college. They have nice croissants, fruit scones. If you're ever looking for a quiet place to go and chat with your mates, the Snug and Chaplin's has to be the go-to. Lovely old interior. Just have to get the dart out to Vico Baths, bring the swimming togs, go for a dip, and you get a lovely view of Killarney Bay. The Epic Museum, I think it's something nice to just figure out the history of the city. You have to go and visit a GAA or hurling or camogie game. It's the most amazing atmosphere. It's going to be an unforgettable experience. Cian O'Sullivan, this is my Dublin.
Tribeca in Ranelagh. I had to go with my family. It's a favourite of ours. Definitely recommend trying their wings. The Metro Cafe, it's a great spot for people watching, especially when it's sunny outside. An oat milk cappuccino would be my go-to. The atmosphere in Devitt is always brilliant. We've had plenty of team nights out there, always great crack. The Timber Trove Cafe in the Dublin Mountains, it's a really cosy family-run cafe. Family House would definitely be a must visit. They have monthly markets on which are gorgeous. I would advise you to walk around the city because most of the main attractions are close by and you can get there quicker on foot. Niamh Gannon, this is my Dublin.
Welcome to Parnell Park for round 2 of the Go Ahead Ireland Dublin Senior 1 Football Championship. Fianna, who were finalists just a couple of years ago against Castleknock, who of course were finalists back in 2016. A great achievement considering the club was founded in just 1998. This is Shane Stapleton, joined by Coleman Goggins. We've already watched one match this evening, which was Clontarf making pretty short work of Fingalians. I'd expect this match would be an awful lot closer.
Yeah, I think you'll probably find that the intensity levels are up a little bit versus what was in the last game we had here between Clontarf and Fingalians. Fianna, over the last number of years, have certainly had aspirations of trying to land the Dublin title. It's over 20 years since they've managed to do that. They've a very talented squad, certainly very talented in their forward division. They've obviously got some of the household names as well that we know of.
And just looking at the table here, after the first round of games, Fianna, they beat Raheny 117 to 113, and Conor McHugh, who I'm sure we'll talk about a few times in this game, scored 1-5. And Castleknock, they beat Lucan Sarsfields by 17 points to 112. We'll do a quick run through the teams now, starting off with Fianna. So in goals, a man we've seen regularly for Dublin in the last couple of years, David O'Hanlon. A full back line of Fiacre Potts, Owen O'D and Owen Merchant, of course, a star for Dublin, scoring a goal in that final replay in 2019. Adam Rafter, Johnny Cooper and Dara Kennedy make up the half back line. It's Donal Ryan paired with James Doran in midfield. The half-forward sector contains David Quinn, Brian O'Leary and David Lacey, and topped off with a very dangerous-looking full-forward line of Aaron Byrne, Conor McHugh and Kieran Redden, managed by Tom Gray. Castleknock on the other side, Marvin Connolly in goals, Owen Walsh, Rob O'Shea and Niall Milmore in the full back line. Number 5, 6 and 7 are Andrew Hughes, Tom Shields and Ty Glow. Kieran Kilkenny, of course, Dublin star and multi-All-Ireland winner. He's midfield alongside Kevin Stevenson. Luke Swan, Conor Chalk and Niall Kilroy in the half-forward line. And just inside them are Ben Galvin, son of Mick, Ger McDermott Rowe and Tommy McDaniels, the Westmeath native. And here's the substitutes coming up on the screen now. And just as we look at those on the screen, a lot of talent on both sides, and even beyond the players that we've seen regularly for county teams in recent times. The likes of full-back Owen O'D, we've seen him on O'Byrne Cup panels for Dublin. Brian O'Leary also. And Luke Swan, I suppose, on the other side for Castleknock. So there's plenty of talent on both sides.
Yeah, plenty of talent, and obviously, as you mentioned, Castleknock weren't. It wasn't too long ago that they were in a county final, so they've aspirations of getting back to that point again. You mentioned that they're only a relatively new club in the grand scheme of things in Dublin, so they've made huge progress in a short period of time, and obviously the club continues to grow with new young players coming in all the time. They've some strong players on the bench as well. The likes of Senan Forker and Rob Shaw would have started games in the past for them, so maybe coming back from injuries or just not fully at the pitch of it just yet. So you probably expect to see them hopefully as the game progresses from a Castleknock point of view. And then the Fianna are just littered with both household names and then a lot of underage stars. So from that end of things, they certainly have the capabilities and the firepower to put something together in terms of attacking the Dublin Senior Championship. But it's these games against the Castleknock. What performance can you put in? Where can you bring the next level to? And I suppose from Tom Gray's point of view, can you keep developing as you move through the championship and progress to hopefully from Fianna's point of view, to the latter stages? Yeah,
and in 4 of the last 5 seasons, Castleknock have gotten to the quarterfinals, so they are getting out of group stages. 2020 was the exception there, but it's just getting beyond that again. Now, they have won their first game against Lucan Sarsfields, which was no mean feat. So where would you be seeing as their strong points here?
Yeah, they're very well organised, and they know how to get guys on the ball, and they have scoring forwards as well. They've obviously got Kieran Kilkenny, who regularly chips in with quite a heavy scoring load. He's named in the middle of the field, but you'll find him probably in different places around the pitch in terms of getting involved. So they have a good structure to them. They set themselves up well. They know where they're strong. They have a job to do defensively, given the 6 forwards, the calibre of what Fianna are coming with, but they have the capabilities and are well able to deal with that. It'll probably, hopefully, come down to the last quarter or 10 minutes, and that's where you could see impact from the bench having a significant input into the game. But both sides will go at it hard. There'll be a significant level of physicality in it early doors, I'd say. If you were leaning one or the other, you might say Fianna on the basis of what they have in terms of firepower, but Castleknock just managed to dig in all the time in these matches and often come out on top.
And Castleknock have broken from their huddle up at their own, the edge of their own D. We'll see if any late substitutions are made. On the face of it at the moment, I don't see any.
It looks like Tom Brennan is going to start in the middle of the field for Fianna there.
Tom Brennan wearing number
20.
Number 20, indeed, yeah.
Probably Donald Ryan who's missing out, is it?
We're just going to take a quick look around to see who's not appearing for Fianna. But getting ball inside to Conor McHugh. He's obviously an excellent player. We've seen him in a Dublin jersey at times. Really good dual player as well. Often plays full-back for the hurlers here. Kieran Kilkenny running off to the far sideline. Quick little word. Maybe there's going to be a rejig now that Fianna have named Tom Brennan in the centre of the pitch. Or as you're suggesting, if Donal Ryan is the man who isn't playing, maybe that adjusts somewhat how Castleknock will go after this game. Referee Dan Steins just about ready to get us going here. Here we are, ready to go now. Castleknock against Fianna. That first ball is broken by Fianna, and it's into Aaron Byrne, who wishes to flick the ball back to Owen Merchant. Merchant has options outside him, one of which is David Lacey. Lacey back to Johnny Cooper, who's been here many times. Captain of the side this year. Plays a beautiful kick pass inside. Now it's Brennan. On to Lacey once more, and Conor McHugh, will he wind one up with his left foot from the left side? He does, but drains the ball just wide.
Yeah, you can just see the pace, initially there, just to get it into the move. Johnny Cooper opened it up, lovely little pop pass inside, and then quick hands to move it. There was probably a pass earlier in the move that might have created an earlier scoring chance, but when it fell onto Conor McHugh's left foot, you thought he'd have knocked it over, just pulls it the wrong side of the post.
Marvin Connolly drives that one long. It eventually breaks in behind for Ben Galvin, son of Mick. Free for Castleknock. Good work from Galvin. And Kieran Kilkenny picks the ball up. He has a couple of players inside looking to get involved. Tommy McDaniels, the Westmeath man, is one of them. He's faced up by Ono D. Cuts back out the field. Galvin, he plays it across. Niall Kilroy works it back to McDaniels. Daniels looks to test out a couple of Fianna defenders. And Castleknock are happy to work the ball back and transfer across the pitch patiently. Kevin Stevenson. On the burst is Andrew Hughes. He's cutting inside the D. It's opening up for him. And eventually lashes a shot. He did have an option just outside him. Puts it over the bar.
Yeah, great score. He probably was unexpected in that he kept going and the gap kept creating in front of him there. He kept going through. It was probably a little pop pass to the left, or maybe if he'd gone low off his right to slide it along the ground. It was well to get a score, but directly through the middle there, everyone backed off. No one went towards him, pops it over the bar.
I think that might have been Luke Swan just on the outside of him, and Swan obviously has a lot of quality, as everyone knows from his Dublin underage career, but the ball wasn't forthcoming, and Castleknock are on the score sheet. Chalk, he gets the ball outside to Stevenson. And now he works the ball to the number 14, Ger McDermott Rowe. And just like that, Castleknock are 2 points ahead.
Yeah, but again, pressure on the kick out. Chalk obviously seeing that the better scoring option was the McDermott Rowe, popped it off to him, sticks it over the bar. 2 scores in a minute.
Now, if you're Castleknock, would you be looking to press up high on a goalkeeper the quality of David O'Hanlon?
Yeah, well, I think that's what, if you look across, they haven't dropped anyone back. They're not conceding the kick out. So if you're good enough to get it out, great. Then let us put the pressure on and we can reset from there. So I personally would be trying to implement that. You can always react from the kick out, but conceding the kick out, you're going to be inside your own 45 before you probably get gloves on to try and get a turnover.
James Dorn with a nice ball to get Tom Brennan out. Now it's Aaron Byrne. Goes for a long kick into the area, and Kieran Redden goes for it, and eventually it breaks out to Brian O'Leary, who turns and goes at his man straight away. Little stutter step and clips the ball over the bar. Really nice response from Brian O'Leary straight away.
Yeah, that's a great score from Brian O'Leary. Won the ball and then came inside, threw a couple of jinks before he decided to take it on, and even though it was a little bit of pressure, curls it over the bar. So it's maybe high risk, high reward in terms of pushing up, and then you're hoping maybe to win the kick out.
And 3.5 minutes into the game, we already have 3 points on the scoreboard. Niall Kilroy tries to feed a ball inside, but it's broken away from McDaniels. Kilroy gets it once more, and a little bit overzealous from Fiacre Potts.
Yeah, great defender from Owen O'D, just read it well to get a hand in and broke the ball out. Unlucky not to pick up the break on it, but straight ball, gave the defender the option, and Owen O'D swallowed it up when it came his way.
Chalk to Stevenson. Stevenson once more, he's had his hands on the ball a lot early doors, and you could see the way he peeled away from that shot. That was over the bar straight away. Excellent score.
Each score better than the next as we've started out here. Great, and from both sides, attacking intent shown early on. There's probably a ball over the top if David O'Hanlon does decide to go long with a great pressure on the kick out.
Short. McDaniels excellently cuts it out, but O'D recovers. Yeah, we can see that Castleknock are pressing up so high that at the far 65, if David O'Hanlon could get it over the top, Castleknock have decided to leave the Fianna players free back there. So it's high risk, high reward, but could be high price at times too. Now it's Brennan bursting forward into the Castleknock D. He's nudged in the back and the referee has decided to give him the decision, and Brennan drops the ball behind him, which is about to be picked up and indeed flicked up by Conor McHugh.
Yeah, almost perfect execution there of a near hand tackle. Kieran Kilkenny was one side, there was another defender on the other side. They probably just leaned into his back a little bit. Brennan went to ground, gives McHugh a chance to knock it over. So there is big space back there for Na Fianna if they're able to work it, but there's a trust clearly in the management and the defenders that one-on-one they're comfortable in trying to do the job. You'll hopefully be backed up if you're able to slow it forward up. But as a consequence of that, it means you have options when you do get the ball. So, it's a refreshing open to the game, certainly.
Yeah, certainly very high scoring early doors. Pretty much a point a minute. Conor McHugh knocked that free over confidently, and this time the free has been broken by James Doran, who picks it up eventually. He fires a nice one inside for Brian O'Leary, who's going to go straight at his man. Has the intent straight away that he's going to have a big day here today and test out this Castleknock defence. And once again, he's on the score sheet. That's 2 points inside the opening 6 minutes for the centre forward.
Yeah, great score again. Look, he's well able. Brian O'Leary has been on underage Dublin teams, has been quite a strong performer for Na Fianna. One-on-one defender, this is where you got to kind of back yourself. Brian O'Leary has taken it on, and so far so good. 2 from 2 shots.
Owen Merchant breaks that kick out nicely, which is picked up by David Lacey, and now Na Fianna are on the front foot once more. Here's Doran, but he's going to be under pressure from Chalk, and Doran does manage to get the ball inside, which is kicked over the bar by Kieran Redden with the minimum of fuss. He's been doing that for years coming. Yeah,
didn't start the last day out for Na Fianna, came in as a substitute, starts today. I mean, what an option to have. Obviously would have played midfield maybe earlier in his career, has now moved inside to the inside line, and what a line then you have inside in terms of pace, power and ability to get scores. And Castleknock have struggled with their last couple of kickouts. It's been broken really well from Na Fianna, and they're on the front foot straight away and have got a couple of scores from that. So Marvin Connolly, is he going to be forced to go long again? Na Fianna are certainly looking to press them high. And that's very much a 50-50 ball, which has been broken once more, but this time Kevin Stevenson does pick up the pieces. He's under pressure but stays cool. Yeah, great commitment on the breaking ball, died down and gave his teammate a chance then to pick it up. Ben Galvin, elusive, pacey, and Kieran Kilkenny hasn't had too many possessions so far. He's under a little bit of pressure, but Castleknock have the ball and they're working it inside the 65 with Stevenson. Yeah, I think Tom Brennan is probably assigned just to stick to Kieran Kilkenny, and that's the job, to mark him out of the game. He doesn't seem to be drifting back. It's all eyes on Kieran Kilkenny every time, so it'll be just interesting to see how that duel plays out. Rob O'Shea and Conor Chalk. McDermott Rowe now, being chased by Johnny Cooper. And Kieran Kilkenny has a run at Tom Brennan and finds the runner on the shoulder, who this time is Ty Lowe. But the referee feels there was a little bit of barging there. Would you agree with that, Coleman? I think he said he overcarried the ball there, which was a bit strange. Like he ran into the tackle and then tried to, get himself straightened again. But, referee was very tight on steps. Great opening 8 or 9 minutes. Teams are both kind of eyeing each other up. They're taking on the one-on-one options. They're not over-committing to a defensive structure, making the field nice and wide, giving lots of scoring opportunities.
The Fianna have hit the last 3 in a row, so they have settled down. They're 4 points to 3 ahead. And here's Owen Merchant injecting a bit of pace into this attack. And pops it back to David Lacey, who runs into a little bit of traffic but finds Merchant once more. Now it's Brennan. Looks to the far wing. Now Johnny Cooper. And Doran. Very patient stuff so far, Adam Rafter.
Yeah, they have to be. Castleknock have just shifted. Everyone is now in behind the 45. They've left no one up front, so they've tried to just narrow that space.
Lacey has a pop from 35 yards out, but drags this one to the left. That's a second wide for Fianna.
Yeah, just a different setup that time. They decided they were going to bring everyone back. They were all inside the 45, made it very difficult for Fianna to get inside them. So when they get the opportunity, they're happy to, put that blanket around their defensive cordon. Works that time.
And Castleknock get their kick out away quickly this time. Owen Walsh been faced up now by Brian O'Leary. O'Leary probably left the hand in a little bit too long.
Yeah,
there.
but great pressure. Like, they're really not allowing them build. You often see them coming out so far before someone lays the glove. Done for picking that one off the ground.
Yeah, that's Owen Walsh that time. Probably a difficult one that Kieran Kilkenny sent his way. And Kieran Redden with a ball now that was fed in by James Doran. And over the top now, Tom Brennan. He's in on goal but spills the ball, and Castleknock get away with it that time because Conor McHugh was waiting inside, and normally when he gets that ball close to goal, he's going to do the needful.
Yeah,
Kenny now.
Just think the pass didn't work right. We might see it back in a couple of minutes. Castleknock coming out of pace.
And now the ball's been popped over the top for Chalk. Will Chalk be able to cut inside? Great work by Fiacre Potts. And eventually, well, there's certainly a dispute over this attempt, and we'll hopefully get another look at it there, even though the angle mightn't tell us the full story.
Yeah, great work by Potts. Put a bit of pressure on when he came around the corner there.
And very difficult to tell, yeah.
Hard to see from that angle. Referee is going for a chat inside. Linesman gave him an opinion too. I'm not sure the umpires are going to be able to help him out. It didn't look like they were too clear on what it...
Conor Chalk certainly felt it was a score, and referee Dan Steins is consulting his officials. When you've got a little break in play like this, would you be looking to really press up and mark every man here for Castleknock?
Yeah.
Well, eventually it's given wide, just by the way.
Yeah, first wide. Yeah, it gives you opportunity to do that. But, Castleknock are spread rather than man-to-man, so it's like they're trying to just put a bit of a squeeze on space rather than on individuals. But there is over-the-top options for David O'Hanlon.
This time he goes mid-range and very nicely spoiled by Ty Glow. And now Kieran Kilkenny has the ball running inside the 45. He offloads to McDermott Rowe. McDermott Rowe hangs it up nice and high and over the bar, the level and score. Excellent play and turnover finished off by Ger McDermott Rowe.
Yeah, the kick-outs again, great pressure putting it. And the Castleknock worked the turnover, and then they're able to get it to McDermott Rowe. Just floated it over the bar. Great score.
Well, with Castleknock pressing up once more in the kick-out, it does leave space in behind, and really nicely won now by the Castleknock defence, who were on the front foot with McDermott Rowe straight away. Referee has decided not to allow that to be played out quickly.
Yeah, Tom Shields with a great fetch. He was saying he was held back or he moved too far forward. I'm not quite sure, but Shields was looking to get the ball away early and was denied it.
I'm sure he would have liked an advantage there. Instead, it's Andrew Hughes with the ball, and he's going to be chased by Kieran Redden. McDermott Rowe once more on this near wing. He's running at David Lacey. Lacey does well to hold him up. And McDermott Rowe stays cool and feeds it back to Owen Walsh. Walsh across to Stevenson. And McDaniels pulls the trigger from 35 yards out, but to the left and wide.
Yeah, unlucky, but again, great pace in both sides in terms of how they're moving the ball. They're looking for the right option inside. consider the last game and maybe the difficulties that Fingallons were having with that ball inside, you can just see when applied with that little bit more pace that it's affording opportunity inside. But it's end to end at the minute.
Yeah, Brennan has the ball now. He looks to kick inside. Really accurate ball. And now it's O'Leary who'll be looking for his third score of the game, but he is sent backwards and eventually gives it to Lacey. Lacey winds up, but good pressure from a Castleknock defender. Now Johnny Cooper. Na Fianna very quick to move the ball from side to side. They're not hanging around.
Yeah, it goes in and comes back out as quick, but great defensive work there. I think it was the Castleknock half forward, Luke Swan, who got back and got a mitt in just before Lacey tried to swing the boot at it, managed to turn them back, so just slowed down the whole move. But again, it gives Castleknock opportunity to filter everyone behind that 45. Space at a premium in there now for Na Fianna.
Yeah, Potts has the ball. Didn't like what was in front of him, so instead went back to Merchant, who has OD around the midfield. Outside him is Johnny Cooper. As you say, very little space inside. So Na Fianna stay patient. And this time it's Adam Rafter. David Quinn. He kicks inside and it's a really accurate one past 3 defenders of Castleknock. Now O'Leary, will he get a chance to unload with his third of the day? He will, and another fantastic strike from Brian O'Leary. He's on fire today, Coleman.
Yeah, that's a great score from Na Fianna. They were patient. You mentioned it in the build-up there. When the ball did come inside, it was a lovely little threaded pass. When O'Leary got on it, he stuck to it, came on to his right and knocked it over the bar. He's hit 3 great scores in the opening half here for Na Fianna.
And a nice little pop pass from James Doran in the middle of that. And he took a little dunt on the way, but got the ball away nicely. Excellent catch from a Castleknock player. Just hard to make out the numbers on that colour combination with the jersey and the white numbers.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant fetch.
Ben Galvin feeds the ball to Kilkenny. And Castleknock's number 10, Luke Swan.
Yeah,
Might have got that kick
yeah,
out,
Luke Swan who caught the ball, you're right.
McDermott Rowe has the ball. His head is up, but the options are limited. Now it's Chalk. And again, pretty static in front of him, so he has to go sideways to Niall Milmore and Stevenson now. Na Fianna just have one player only in the top half of the pitch. So Castleknock have a lot of work to do to fashion an opportunity here. Chalk once more. And he's making a signal at his full forward line. He isn't happy with the options being given. And Hughes. And it's Chalk once more. This time he does loft it into the area, whether they're ready or not. And eventually it's broken away by Na Fianna and they're on the front foot. Johnny Cooper breaks the press there, and it's Tom Brennan now who gives it to Doran. Doran collects that brilliantly and he's on the run, but he's under an awful lot of pressure. Stevenson probably left the hand in a little bit too long. Redden has the ball. Will he look to feed it inside? He won't.
Yeah, again, look, just great pace in the movement there. The hand went up a little bit earlier in the move for the long ball inside. It didn't come, and then when it did come, Na Fianna did well to snuff it out. When the ball breaks down like that, then you're very susceptible to the pace that Na Fianna have and the quality they have up front. So there's probably, for want of a better way of phrasing it, a tactical foul there that Castleknock used just to slow it down, give themselves a chance to regroup.
Fianna also almost gift away possession there and close to being handled on the ground also by Owen O'D, I think it was.
Certainly a lot of amateur referees in the terrace beneath us here felt it was touched on the ground.
So it's back to Rafter. There's probably a little bit more space now than there ordinarily is. Aaron Byrne, we haven't seen too much of just yet. It's the ball out to Cooper and little stutter step, and now he finds himself in space, but he's turned over, regathered by Conor McHugh. And now Redden is looking for space and he feeds the ball back out the field to Lacey once more. Lacey, will he unwind? He doesn't. He pops the ball over the top to Brennan, and Brennan is hit probably a little bit overzealously. And I think it's by the number 12, which is Niall Kilroy. And that's going to be a pretty simple free for Conor McHugh from here.
I think Kilroy was probably arguing that he was on the way to ground when the hand came in, but referee didn't see it that way. And looks like Kieran Kilkenny being spoken to as well there, maybe picking up a booking.
Yeah, yellow card for Kieran Kilkenny. And that's the second free that Brennan has won close to goals.
Yeah, I thought it was the wrong option to pop it over, given there was very little space from top right in, but he managed to win the ball and then win the free. Gives Conor McHugh a chance to get his second.
Yeah, using that trusty left boot. He's good off either side. 6 points to 4 for Na Fianna. They've hit 5 out of the last 6 scores. And Castleknock could really do with a score at this stage just to steady themselves down. There's only 2 in it, but they would like to keep as close as possible.
Yeah, and we had a big lag there, 4 minutes without a score. So
This time it breaks over the top, that long kick out from Connolly. And it's picked up by Lacey, who tries to hand pass it off to one of his teammates, but instead Conor Chalk gets onto it. But he runs into 3 men, and it was Adam Rafter who got the crucial hand in there. And it allows Owen Merchant to get his hands on the ball and eventually put his boot through it and find James Dorn. And Brennan has the ball, and they're on the front foot, Na Fianna. And Brennan with another kick pass into the full forward line. And O'Leary, who has been scintillating so far, unwinds, and it's a 4th point of the first half inside the opening 20 minutes for Brian O'Leary.
yeah, great score. Look, he's always looking to shift back onto his right foot, not critical of his left foot at all, but as a defender you're probably trying to squeeze him more onto the left if you can. That's 4 shots and 4 scores. Difficult guy to mark. Great return in terms of his contribution to Na Fianna. Just getting a little bit on top of Na Fianna, a little bit more economical in terms of their shot selection.
And with that array of forwards, Conor McHugh, O'Leary, Redden, you name it, Aaron Byrne, lads who've been involved at Dublin, there's a lot of fires to put out for Castleknock. We're on the front foot now with Galvin. Thought for a second about having a pop, but instead works it backwards, and it's Niall Milmore and McDermott Rowe. Kieran Kilkenny feeds it to Tom Shields, who's winding up a banana shot, but instead it drops short to McDaniels, who touches the ball off the post, and out of jail for Na Fianna there. And McDaniels looks to collect it once more, and Byrne is putting pressure on him in the corner, and that was a huge opportunity and slightly fortuitous maybe. I'm not sure if Shields looked to feed that into him, and Chalk might have another chance here. And again, McDermott Rowe has the ball, and little dummy shot, and works it back out the field to Chalk. We'll come back to that goal opportunity in a moment or two. But for now, Castleknock are still on the attack. And it's Owen Walsh. Luke Swan, nice little step. Stevenson feeds it inside to McDaniels. McDaniels draws 3 men and gives it to Swan, who slips, and Castleknock can't quite fashion that open opportunity, but now eventually it comes out to McDermott Rowe, who winds up for his 3rd scoring attempt of the day, but this one goes badly wide. Really good disciplined defending for Na Fianna, but things could have gone awry here.
Yeah, I think Tom Shields was looking to try and pick someone out there, whether he had it just teed, his measure of that. McDaniels unlucky, got his hand on it over Owen O'Dee's head, hits the post and comes back out.
We saw earlier on that Conor Chalk was a little bit frustrated when players weren't ready for that long ball inside, and this time it did go in, and perhaps that's something that Castleknock have identified beforehand.
Yeah, they definitely indicated a couple of times, I mentioned earlier in the game, to try and let it in long, I think, but it was more the trajectory of that pass, was perfect for McDaniels to get his hands on it. He was just unlucky he couldn't direct it into the goal. But Tom Shields looked to do something a little bit different, because when Castleknock are winning the ball, they're turning, they don't really have the pop ball option Na Fianna have, so that they come back out the field. So it was just a little bit different and almost paid off in respect of a goal.
Yeah, maybe I wronged Tom Shields. Maybe it was a beautiful ball inside it.
I'll tell him after, don't worry.
Yeah. Owen O'Dea now. And Johnny Cooper outside him. Cooper finds Conor McHugh, but McHugh runs into serious traffic, and eventually the referee allows it to play on, and somehow Na Fianna have gotten it out of there, and Kieran Redden You give that man the ball in any little bit of space and he's going to put it over the bar, and he's done so once more.
Yeah, I think Conor McHugh's probably lucky there. He gets away with what looks like a throw ball. He doesn't seem to do any movement to it. Referee gives him the benefit of the doubt. Ball breaks for Red and he knocks it over the bar. And I mentioned they just seem to be getting a little bit on top. They're a little bit more physical. Chances are coming a little bit better for them.
Dermot Rowe wins the kick out this time. Inside to Stevenson. Kieran Kilkenny to Shields, and now Stevenson. Lovely hand in from Potts, denying Castleknock the opportunity to win that ball inside the 14.
Yeah, sticky defender. He doesn't leave you too much room to try and escape from him. He's a big long arm as well that he gets in to get the ball knocked away. Castleknock, while obviously still very much in the game, they need a score or two just to get them back into the game. They've conceded 4 on the spin there without any reply, and they're just that little bit of a gap creeping in between their scores. Almost 8 minutes between their third and fourth score, and we're almost heading to 10 minutes before, for a score on top of that. So it's just not happening as fluidly for them as it is for Na Fianna.
Conor Chalk that time, he was nibbled at once and then twice by Fiacre Potts, give it away to free, and Kieran Kilkenny was thinking about having a pop, but instead he's going to leave it to McDaniels. A tight angle on the far wing down at the golf course end.
Yeah, certainly a difficult kick for him, but an important one. He drops it over, gives Na Fianna a chance to push up on the kick out. Or Castleknock a chance to push up on the Na Fianna kick out, I should say.
And it doesn't quite go wide. It's knocked back into play by Andrew Hughes, but Na Fianna do have the ball, and to be fair to Castleknock, they've found a way to slow them up, and eventually Hughes gives away the free, but Luke Swan had done really, really well, but that free just dropped wide from McDaniels, and it's another attack that Castleknock haven't been able to benefit from.
Yeah, referee's going to hop the ball in there. I think something happened after he had awarded the free, or maybe he didn't award a free. Maybe he was always going the hot ball route.
Referee Dan Stein's taking his time.
Just a bit of niggle now as the game slows down, and when people are in close quarters like that, referee just needs to get it moving again.
A couple of the big men jockeying for position. Luke Swan gets his hand onto it. Eventually it comes back out to the number 12, Niall Kilroy, who has a swing with his left foot and puts the ball straight over the bar. A huge score for Castleknock, who needed it.
Yeah, great score. He certainly travelled a distance with the ball when he was on the loop there. He kept moving around on the corner. Given the over-carrying free that was given earlier in the game, he seemed to get away with one there, but a good response from Castleknock, an important one.
And straight away Na Fianna unflustered, they're carrying the ball up the field. Potts plays a ball inside to Conor McHugh, who's under serious pressure and runs into 3 men, but referee Dan Steins feels that the tackling there was a little bit over the top.
I think he felt Conor McHugh got a tug just before he managed to secure the possession, which was ultimately what the free was given for, but great strength from Conor McHugh coming out. There were 3 guys swinging out of him.
Kieran Kilkenny's a little bit unhappy with whatever went on with Potts over at the far side, but Na Fianna are on the attack all the same, and Lacey's going to have a chance to unwind, but runs into a couple of tackles, but still gets his shot away despite the attentions of 2 Castleknock defenders. Makes it 9 points to 5.
Yeah, did well to cut inside, showed it once and then took a play. He got pushed back a couple of times, haven't done that before. This time backs himself, knocks it over the bar.
Milmore and Kilkenny. Stevenson kicks a ball into the corner for Luke Swan, and Adam Rafter gets a hand in nicely and turns over the talented Swan. And now David O'Hanlon in the goals. He's bringing the ball out to James Doran, who's not for the first time on the ball here, and he's looking for runners off the shoulder. Eventually he finds Johnny Cooper. Doran's able to inject a little bit of pace. Brennan to McHugh. Now will he fancy having a pop from play? He scored a couple from frees already. He's been faced up by Owen Walsh. Eventually has a shot on his left foot. He's studying it. And a little mini fist pump there straight over the bar. First score from play for Conor McHugh.
Yeah, just working themselves into positions where they're favouring their stronger foot, so to speak. So he came inside there on his left, managed to kick it over the bar. You've seen Lacey, we've obviously seen 4 scores from Brian O'Leary too, just coming on to their stronger side, so they're able to work the defender, get inside and then knock it over the bar. And again, they just managed to just keep opening up that gap. Got to 4, out to 5 now, so every so often they're just adding a little bit of pace, impetus into the game to open up the gap.
And Walsh under a little bit of pressure out here, but really nice play from Tom Shields, a little step, and he's away, but now he's running into pressure once more from Owen Merchant and Redden, and eventually he's had the ball ripped away from him. Really nice work from Merchant, and then gives it back to Johnny Cooper, and they're on the front foot once more, na Fianna.
Yeah, I think he just got caught by his old man who came into the space that he was trying to get into, so then he had to turn back on himself and was swallowed up by the Na Fianna defenders. So strong in the tackle.
Now Potts is on the front foot once more. He doesn't have too many options in front of him, but the one he does have is Brian O'Leary, who already has 4 points from play. This time draws a brilliant save out of Morven Connolly. Could have been lights out if that hit the back of the net.
Yeah, great run again from the cornerback Potts. He's having a great out season back in the corner there. O'Leary took it on, goes low, right option, but Morven Connolly, experienced goalkeeper, gets feet on it, turns around the post. Big save for Castleknock.
Again, just shows the value of a turnover up the field, and very quickly Na Fianna are able to change the angle of attack over to the far wing and work a goal opportunity. So David O'Hanlon has come up the field, so you would imagine he'll be taking this 45.
It's been a good opening half, for Na Fianna. It took them, 4 or 5 minutes to get going, but since they've managed to tag on a score, they've been very good on their attacks. They've created a lot of chances inside. They've managed to get the right person, right shooter on the ball, I suppose, at the right time. Okay, they've kicked a couple of wides, but they'll be quite happy with how they performed first half. And the reverse of that is some of the bigger, influential players for Castleknock, they've kept them quite quiet.
Hanlon unloads, but it goes wide. Eventually the umpire decides that has gone wide, so 9 out of the last 11 scores for Na Fianna, and Castleknock, they've obviously had that goal chance. Tommy McDaniel's padding the ball off the post, but since then chances have been few and far between. They have had 1 point from Niall Kilroy in the meantime, but Na Fianna have very much been on top. Marvin Connolly is going to restart play once more and into the numbers this time. Kilroy's there, almost gets a hand to it. Eventually it breaks and Castleknock come out with the ball, and it's Andrew Hughes who's been plenty of shouting going on the pitch at the moment, but Stevenson has the ball and Castleknock are on the front foot. That's Swan and Kilkenny, who I'm sure Castleknock would like to get on the ball higher up the pitch.
Yeah, it's difficult for them because they just don't have that pace that's bringing them into the game, and on top of that, Tom Brennan, who came in for Na Fianna there, is sticking to him like glue, so he's not giving them opportunity to move anyway freely.
And once again, Na Fianna, brilliant work. I think that was a hand in from, was it Potts or OD once more? And
Owen O'D, not only did he get his hand in, he actually flicked it round the corner to give the other defender a chance. So it's great defending. The ball is a bit straight for Castleknock. So again, as a defender, you like the straight ball. It's the diagonal ones that then give the forward better opportunity on it.
Seamus Smith is in for Na Fianna also. But as we go along, it's Aaron Byrne and David Quinn. And the referee calls a halt to the play. It's half time here at Parnell Park. Na Fianna 10 points, Castleknock 5. An excellent start to the game from Castleknock, but Brian O'Leary with 4 points. He's really put his team on the front foot. Conor McHugh, he's scored 2 from frees and 1 from play. Kieran Redden with a couple, and also David Lacey. On the other side, Andrew Hughes and Kevin Stevenson, they've had a couple apiece. And Ger McDermott Rowe before Niall Kilroy got the last of the half, but certainly it's been pretty much one-way traffic for the last maybe 20 minutes, Coleman.
Yeah, Na Fianna are coming with those bursts. They managed to get 3 on the spin, then they got 4 on the spin, and then they closed out the half with 2 more. So they're just able to back up their scores. Apart from the opening 2 scores that Castleknock got in the third minute, 2 scores in a minute basically, they just haven't been able to get any bit of fluidity into the game. They're set up quite aggressive in terms of their formation, so they're pushed up, there's a little bit of space in behind, and then when they're one-on-one with the Na Fianna forwards, because of that quality, they're able to just shift onto the right or the left and kick it over the bar. So there's a bit of work to do for Castleknock, how they set up second half. Tom Gray will be thinking, look, we've opportunity here to squeeze on and get more scores, and if only for, I suppose, that Morven Connolly score or save. And I know there was a chance the other end, but if you're going in half-time 1-10-5, it's a long road back. But 10-5, you give yourself a chance. Probably just needs a shift in how Castleknock are set up, and maybe try something different with Kieran Kenny out of the middle of the field, leave him in a little bit closer to goal maybe.
Well, manager Brian Farrell has a couple of minutes to decide what he's going to do with his Castleknock team for the second half. We'll return soon for all of that. As I said, it's Na Fianna 10 points, Castleknock 5.
Stay City Apart Hotels. Half apartment, half hotel. Warm beds, comfy sofas, and fully equipped kitchens. We offer guests more, so you can do more. Cook, sleep, work, play. Welcoming, accommodating, and big beds for jumping. Smart travellers choose Stay City because Stay City is the smart choice. Stay City, half apartment, half hotel, all across Europe. Save 10% every time you book at staycity.com.
We're delighted to extend the partnership with Go Ahead Ireland. They're an organisation that serves communities all over Dublin and helps serve our club members around the county, and it's been a brilliant partnership for the last 3 years, and we're delighted to extend for a further 2 years.
Like us, Dublin GAA are embedded in their community, so it was a really natural fit. For us, it was important to find a partner that was inclusive, but also had that community identity, and that's exactly what we found in Dublin GAA. Since we started the partnership, they've been really easy to work with, and we're really excited to continue the journey together.
In those 3 years, we actually accomplished a lot with Dublin GAA. We were privileged to be able to work with both local and national charities with them, as well as working on several GAA initiatives.
This partnership allows us to support Club League and Championship with initiatives such as our Dubs TV live streaming platform. We try and stream as many games as possible, particularly during the championship season where we can from a logistical point of view around grounds, and that is something we will continue to try and deliver over the coming years and keep enhancing club championship product and club leagues around the county across all 4 codes.
In the coming months, we're going to be continuing growing our services. And while we do that, that means that we'll be serving more GAA community clubs than ever before.
This year alone, we're going to be introducing the Development Fund for Accessibility as part of our partnership, which is going to see core infrastructure at Dublin GAA developed. In the summer, we're also introducing the Go Ahead Ireland Dublin LGFA Summer Skills Camps, which will be held in July and August.
As Dublin's best performing public bus operator, we're going to continue to work really hard on delivering for our customers and our communities.
One of my favourite places to grab a coffee in Dublin is Bua. It's one of these kind of COVID coffee trucks that popped up, and it's kind of developed into this bit of a social hub. I'll always find myself being drawn back to social fabric. It's just a beautiful place to go. They always have consistently good food there. Bar 1661. So I love watching them make the cocktails, shake it up, garnish it, serve it. Howth village itself is a lovely little kind of seaside town. The Gravity Bar up on the top floor of the storehouse, and it's just an amazing place, an amazing view of Dublin City. Definitely visit Temple Bar and take in what's there. My advice would be to try your best to see other parts of the city. Brian Fenton, this is my Dublin.
It has to be Tang on Abbey Street. You can't beat their flatbreads with the chickpeas and spicy chicken. It's Irish owned, great food, great people. Shoe Lane, beside Tara Street train station. It was close to Trinity where I went to college. They have nice croissants, fruit scones. If you're ever looking for a quiet place to go and chat with your mates, the Snug and Chaplin's has to be the go-to. Lovely old interior. Just have to get the dart out to Vico Baths, bring the swimming togs, go for a dip, and you get a lovely view of Killarney Bay. The Epic Museum, I think it's something nice to just figure out the history of the city. You have to go and visit a GAA or hurling or camogie game. It's the most amazing atmosphere. It's going to be an unforgettable experience. Cian O'Sullivan, this is my Dublin.
Tribeca in Ranelagh. I had to go with my family. It's a favourite of ours. Definitely recommend trying their wings. The Metro Cafe. It's a great spot for people watching, especially when it's sunny outside. An oat milk cappuccino would be my go-to. The atmosphere in Devitt is always brilliant. We've had plenty of team nights out there, always great crack. The Timber Trove Cafe in the Dublin Mountains. It's a really cosy family-run cafe. Family House would definitely be a must visit. They have monthly markets on which are gorgeous. I would advise you to walk around the city because most of the main attractions are close by and you can get there quicker on foot. Niamh Gannon, this is my Dublin.
Kyo's Cafe in Portobello. I really like going back just for the vibe. It's nice and chill, people are really cool. Trails Cafe in Ticknock. The coffee is really, really good. Americano, small bit of milk, and you're good to go and hit the trails. Blue Light is always a nice roaring fire. We tend to go up after All-Ireland final week. It's a really nice place to be. I'd recommend getting out to Poolbeg Lighthouse. It's a great walk out. You get a great view back of the city. If you get the chance, I'd go up to Ticknock, go up and rent a mountain bike. Trails up there are pretty cool. Bring a raincoat, a shower's never too far away. Orla Nolan, this is my Dublin.
We met down at Fairview, and Kieran's brother was a friend of my brother's. We met through them, so when I was coming up to the Debs, I invited Kieran to my Debs. He asked me to marry him, and I said yes, so long as our firstborn child played for Vincent's. And he said, okay, grand. It's great to have our family involved as well. I suppose if the kids weren't as interested in it as we were, it'd be very tough on us.
Kieran's are playing Vincent's. The tension in the house is gas. Mum is obviously Vincent's and Dad is Kieran, so Mum always claims that she'll give John steak for dinner and she won't feed Kevin. But it's always a bit of a laugh, but I suppose no one takes it too seriously.
She had her hands full. She could have got the job as a bus driver. The amount of dropping off and picking up she did from matches around. Leaving some matches early to go to another match to make sure she got the end of that, or make sure we all got the same amount of attention. There was no favourites.
It means everything. I don't know what we do without it, to be fair. We eat, drink and sleep it.
It's always through the family like the rest of us. There's not enough supporting words, I'd say.
I know my whole life at this rate.
We're very proud parents. That's a huge achievement to have 100% of your family still playing. We're proud of them all, every one of them.
My name is Niamh Heatherton.
My name is John Heatherton. I'm Kieran Heatherton.
I'm Patsy Heatherton, and as a family,
our roots are set in the GAA.
Ground Force probably is the absolute heart of this club, both in their ethos, the amount of work they do, and just the pure love they have for Naomh Marnoga and the GAA in general. In simplest terms, we probably couldn't function without Ground Force.
I suppose the GAA was always a bit more than hitting the ball or hitting the schlitter, you know, and it gave a great sense of community to people.
I suppose at my age, fear of retirement, worried about the unknown, what am I going into a home under my wife's feet all the time or something like that, and then we just got this men's initiative started off. We feel that we're giving something back to the club that gave so much to us. We come up here on a rotary basis and line pitches, cut grass. It kind of empowers us as well if we feel valued.
We're all friends, we're all retired, we're all around the same age group. Some of us have nothing outside of our work, and Ground Force has been a big change for everybody from a mental well-being point of view. It's really, really important and really significant, and there is great camaraderie amongst the group.
So I think there's about 30 odd men in this initiative that comes up to the club and has a chat. And the coffee is important as well. We sort out the world, Dan.
Yeah. Or well, most of it.
Yeah.
That's what it means to me, just achievement and pride.
My first memory of GAA would probably have been in Croke Park with my father. That would be in the early 1950s.
As a young lad brought down to watch one of my brother's matches.
Playing under 10 hurling, and I say hurling not
camogie because I played on the boys team.
My feeling about the GAA was more a social one than a games one, because I thought it was a great way for all the kids to get to know each other.
Mum and Dad always brought us up to have each other's backs. We'd all go to each other's matches. No matter what we were doing or playing, we'd all support each other. I'm playing for the club 37 years I think now, but I also coached my 2 daughters' teams.
It's great. It really is a great feeling to have the kids down there. And now all of their friends are beginning to come from the same community and the same focus on the club, so it's a mirror of what happened to me in my childhood, I suppose.
We made more friends down the years and had more fun down the years than ever we would anywhere else.
Mum fostered that through us as well. She was chief bottle washer. She'd have jerseys upon jerseys out in the line.
3 of my offspring are married, and they met their better halves through the club.
The friends and relationships I got out of it. Looking back, that was really what the GAA was about. Community, about building relationships with people. My name is Mick Galvin.
My name is Mary Galvin.
My name is Phil Galvin, and my family roots are in St Bridget's GAA Club.
Welcome back to Parnell Park here for the second half of this Go Ahead Ireland Dublin Senior 1 football championship clash between Fianna and Castleknock. The first half started out brilliantly. It was score for score the first 6 or 7 minutes, and Castleknock started off really well, going 3 points to 1 in front. But since then, Fianna have largely taken over, and they lead by 10 points to 5 at the break. Brian O'Leary on fire in that half, scoring 4 points. And there has been a couple of changes for Fianna. Well, at the start of the game, Tom Brennan, he started midfield and has done really well instead of Donal Ryan. And we saw midway through the half as well, Seamus Smith, he came on for James Doran, who had also been playing quite well, and seems to be, there might have been talk of him staying on, but he seems to be walking towards the sideline now.
A bag of ice there maybe, so he's probably just tweaked something, and given the longer view, maybe they're deeming they need to rest him up.
Well, certainly they've been impressive in large spells of the first half, and they beat Raheny the first day out by 4 points. And you were just saying at the half time that they'd started that game so well, but they allowed Raheny back into it, and maybe that's the opportunity for Castleknock here.
Yeah, they were further ahead against Raheny. It was 1-11 to 6 points at half time in that game, and Raheny managed to get a foothold back into the game. They got a goal that gave them a bit of a lifeline. So obviously goals do that. They give you a bit of a nudge forward. They give you a bit of an impetus. They probably need to shift how they're playing a little bit. They're probably a little bit slow in transition up the field. They're not managing to move the ball inside as quick as Fianna are. But you know, they're only 5 points in arrears. You get a couple of scores early in the second half here, and then you start maybe putting a few questions in Fianna's way. And as Fianna showed against Raheny, you know, if you allow a team back into the game, it's very hard then to switch it back on again. And while they've been very good in the opening half, it's a bit of consistency. Just see Rob Shaw as well. Looks like he's coming in for Castleknock here as a substitute.
Yeah, carrying 2 balls here at the moment.
Once he doesn't start with them both, we're okay.
So he seems to be coming into the half-back line here. He's walking over towards David Quinn, wing forward for Fianna. And referee Dan Steins looks more or less ready to go again. Kieran Kilkenny in midfield with Luke Swan. They'll be looking to win this ball straight away. Swan gets a fingertip to it, but it's still a scramble, and eventually Kilkenny gets the ball and he's on the front foot. McDermott Rowe outside. Kilkenny once more. Patient on the ball, doesn't seem to have too many options. Eventually looks for a give and go. And a little nudge in the back by Fiacre Potts on Conor Chalk.
I think you're being kind there with a little nudge. He drove him off the 45 there, Shane.
Kilkenny fairly... Yeah, it was fairly congested inside, but eventually he finds Luke Swan, who had moved away from all of that traffic, and he has a shot from the edge of the D, but that is wide. You'd normally fancy Luke Swan from that sort of area.
Yeah, there was a little bit of noise and pressure put on him before he managed to hook the shot, but just pulled it on the wrong side of the goal. Pressure on the kick out from Castleknock. Just not able to get a turnover initially.
Johnny Cooper does just enough. Works it out here to Potts, who has 3 men around him, but he finds a nice ball inside for Ono D, and Johnny Cooper has open country in front of him. Inside is substitute Seamus Smith, who looks to switch the angle of attack, and now Aaron Byrne, who we haven't seen too much of just yet. He hangs up a Gary Owen, and it breaks in the area, and Conor McHugh is nearby, but eventually it breaks to Kieran Redden, I should say, who tries to fist it over on what I'd imagine is his weaker left hand and clips the outside of the post, and it goes wide. A bit of a let off there.
Yeah, you just wonder if he had taken it down, could he have swung his left boot at it and maybe gone for goal chance given the break they'd got inside. There was no real name put on the ball when it dropped, so they put pressure on themselves, Castleknock there. But look, they dodged one, a wider piece at the start of the second half. Means the gap still is 5.
Goalkeeper Marvin Connolly brings it outside to Rob Shaw, who, as we said, just came on at the break. He runs past Tom Brennan, who had an impressive first half. But Shaw has a lovely little pop pass over the top for Stevenson, and Stevenson is running into the Fianna half, eventually checks the ball back, and Chalk unloads and pops the ball over from about 25 yards out. That makes it 10 points to 6.
Yeah, and the likes of Rob Shaw's a miss for Castleknock there. He's brilliant at carrying the ball forward like that, as we've seen, just created that little bit of space. The pass to Stevenson then opened it up a little bit more, so it's clear when they add a bit of pace they can put pressure on the Fianna.
Good work here from Kieran Kilkenny, who manages to turn over Seamus Smith, and now Castleknock are on the front foot again, and it's Shaw again, very comfortable on the ball, and his beautiful pop pass over the top released Stevenson to create that chance. Now Niall Kilroy has the ball. He's happy to hold on to it and bring McDermott Rowe into the play. Stevenson happy to pump the legs once more. McDermott Rowe again. He finds Milmore and Kilkenny, who has Brennan in front of him, runs at Brennan, has the advantage, and eventually it's cut out by Johnny Cooper, so referee Dan Steins goes back for the free. Good play from Kilkenny, nice and direct.
Yeah, brilliant. He just, you often hear it in rugby, are eyeing up the opposition to see what's in front of you in terms of taking it on. He fancied his chances, he went left and then spun right, so there's definitely an opportunity here for a score for Castleknock. 5 points in arrear, you kick this over, you're back to 3, and they've a little bit of pressure now put on the Fianna, a little bit more pace, a little bit more movement, and just making it that bit more difficult for the Fianna to get out.
Yeah, Tommy McDaniels had a difficult one from the corner with his last free. This time is a lot more central, but it's about 35 yards out, and that looks good from here, but it does drop short, so that's another missed opportunity for Castleknock, and David O'Hanlon safe under that. Now it's Owen Merchant in the centre of the goals, and he hand passes it to Owen O'D, who might have been under pressure for a second but manages to get out of it. And now it's Smith, who runs into serious traffic, but Castleknock, working hard as they are, they couldn't quite get that turnover. And now Potts runs into a big hit. He's turned over by Luke Swan. Excellent work from Swan. And Castleknock are on the front foot. Kieran Kilkenny has the ball, and will he look to kick it inside? Instead he looked to draw a man and feed Stevenson. Stevenson running inside the D. Will he look to force a goal? Instead he skews the ball when the easy point was on. Did he try to force the goal opportunity there, Coleman?
Yeah, I think he seen a gap and he went for it all right, but brilliant work from Luke Swan. What a hit on Fiacre Potts to orchestrate the turnover. Stevenson looks like he's hurt himself going through there now when he pulled on the effort. There was definitely an opportunity to pop it over the bar. I guess when it opened up, he decided he was going to try and keep going forward. Then he pulls this shot there and makes a bad effort of it in the end and pulls it badly wide. That's 3 chances they put wide in the opening 5-6 minutes of this second half. The gap remains of 4 when it could be a lot less from a Castleknock point of view.
And you had made that point about Na Fianna playing for 70 minutes and the way that Raheny were able to work themselves back into that game after going quite a bit behind, and Castleknock, you can certainly feel like the opportunity is there for them at the moment.
Yeah, they just seem to leave the door open a little bit. That's not to say now that when they get a chance they won't create a scoring opportunity themselves, but as you can see there's been 3 chances there. Of the 4 chances they've only got 1 from 4 in this opening 7-8 minutes of the second half, or not even that 6 minutes.
Ball is played inside, and this time Brian O'Leary can't get to it first, but the ball breaks once more and Conor McHugh almost gets there but doesn't quite. And now Castleknock are on the front foot, and they do look to run the ball out of defence, but too many steps were taken, and now Na Fianna will have a chance from about 25 yards out towards the sideline. At the moment, Brian Lacey has the ball, but yeah, it looks like Brian Lacey will take it on his right foot. David Lacey, I should say.
Yeah, great pressure from the Fianna forwards there, but Castleknock probably had possession secured a couple of times there, just weren't able to break out given the power that was in the tackle. Difficult angle.
And this would sting doubly after missing a few chances at the other end if Lacey can put this one over the bar. Straight away you could see Marvin Connolly looking up above his head. You knew that was over the bar. Excellent score from that man, David Lacey.
Yeah, big kick from him, difficult angle, but backed himself all the way there. Only their second shot at the start of this second half, and they're still managed to have the Sim on the board one.
Through the eye of a needle now from Marvin Connolly, who finds Rob Shaw. He's been prominent in the opening 7 minutes since coming on.
Yeah, he's very comfortable on the ball. Great attacking, driving him. Everything is go forward with him. That's probably the only way he knows how to play. He's powerful enough. If he can get on ball and can break that line, he can certainly create chances for Castleknock. So he's a great sub to have brought on.
Marvin Connolly now just tries to hand pass the ball out to his cornerback, Niall Milmore. Milmore to McDermott Rowe. Tries an ambitious kick up the line and a really accurate one too. Niall Kilroy with the ball being tracked by Johnny Cooper. And Kilroy runs into Cooper and he's in fear of overcarrying the ball, and referee a little generous maybe letting that go on. And now McDermott Rowe tries to kick one inside and that's spilled. And Adam Rafter, he manages to do enough against Luke Swan. But eventually the referee calls for the ball and maybe he's going to toss it in between a couple of players here. Luke Swan and maybe Rafter going up against each other, and Swan gets a hand to it once more and Conor Chalk spills it. Eventually David Quinn is on the ball, but yeah, a free against Quinn for overcarrying or maybe even touching it on the ground. And to be fair to Castleknock, they have won a couple of frees and a couple of turnovers early in this second half. They just need to start, showing it on the scoreboard.
Yeah, well, this is certainly a scoring opportunity for Jerry McDermott Rowe. 30 yards out, you'd expect them to knock it over the bar. I'm giving them the commentator's curse now, but both sides from an attacking point of view, when the ball breaks down, their forwards put a huge pressure on it. We've seen it early on with Castleknock there. This time they managed to get the turnover and the free off Dave Quinn.
And McDermott Rowe makes a minimum fuss of that, just pops it over the bar, and we're back to within 4 points again. That's 11 points to 7. Will they look to squeeze up on this next kick out? They've a bit of a zonal setup, hoping to set a few traps for Fianna.
Yeah, trying to force him into a place he does not looking to kick, but he manages to get it away.
Lovely kick from David O'Hanlon. Finds Adam Rafter, who is able to transfer it out here to Fiacre Potts, and Fianna are on the front foot once more. Not too many options ahead, but David Quinn is there. Quinn finds Tom Brennan. Brennan has Rafter. There's very few options now. There's plenty of Castleknock jerseys in front of him, but does really well to skew a ball backwards towards Johnny Cooper. And Smith on to Brennan, and Brennan back to Kieran Redden. He shows one way and goes the other, and then comes backwards. O'Leary, plenty of traffic, and I think Castleknock are well warned of his powers at this stage. Now it's Owen Merchant, who maybe has a slight bit more space. Takes it down the line. Fianna holding on to the ball, moving from side to side and doing it at pace. Is that going to wear down Castleknock eventually, having to chase side to side like this?
Yeah, they're making them work hard, but Castleknock are set up there that they're slowing down the ball inside, so that little bit of space that O'Leary and Lacey were getting in the first half is not there as much anymore. There's great patience in the Fianna. It's just trying to look, can you get the right player on the ball, shooter on left boot.
And this time it's Conor McHugh, and strangely he pulls it wide on the near side, normally so accurate. They've been set up nicely from Brian O'Leary, and Castleknock rewarded for their discipline in defence there.
Yeah, worked hard there to force Conor McHugh. You would have still fancied him. He came inside on his left, just pulled at this near side. But Castleknock could be happy with how they've started this second half. They've given themselves opportunities.
Really good play from Niall Milmore there, because there was an opportunity for Dara Kennedy to get in there, but instead it was Castleknock ball, and now it's Galvin. Gets the ball back towards Chalk, and he feeds it out to McDermott Rowe, who has another opportunity to split the post, but instead he hits one of them. And it breaks back out towards Lacey, who gathers that very well under pressure. And a nice ball out to this far wing from David Quinn. Finds its way to Smith, who looks for a kick pass up the line towards Redden, who's got that bit of pace and power, and he's looking to take on Tom Shields. To be fair to Shields, he sends him backwards, and it's back towards Seamus Smith. Now Conor McHugh, will he look to unload once more? No, instead he goes back for Owen O'D. And more of this patience, and Na Fianna injecting pace one side, working it back out. They're back over to the far side, and now Brian O'Leary running into traffic, and yeah, the referee blows for a free. There was probably an initial tug there, didn't blow straight away, but then did go back for the free.
Yeah, probably just the other side of the 45. David O'Hanlon missed one of these in the first half, so gets a second cut off the post. Just, maybe a metre back from the 45 metre line. More tactical in terms, or technical in terms of the setup now, so both sides are kind of reverting to trying to, reduce the amount of scoring opportunities that they're giving away. As a consequence, then it becomes a little bit more of a game of chess, not as free flowing as it was in the first half. That's probably suiting Castleknock a little bit more. Change on the Tom Brennan, looks like he's leaving the field there. Picked up a bit of a knock just a little bit earlier. Looks like Donald Ryan maybe has come into the middle of the field in his place there, so was named to start but comes in now with 20 minutes left to play or so.
And a good innings for Tom Brennan. David Hanlon about 47 yards out. Walks up to it and pulls it left and wide. So another let off for Castleknock.
Yeah, I think between them, there's drop short off the post, 5 wides as well. So neither side really demonstrate that push forward and go and win the game. They're kind of leaving it there for either side to win it if you get a chance. Brilliant take by the man just on the field, Ryan.
Now on the front foot once more, it's Na Fianna and Johnny Cooper with a nice little hand pass inside, and Conor McHugh looks to loft one over the bar with his left foot after checking back, and does so. Great score for Conor McHugh, his second from play and his 4th overall.
Yeah, Johnny Cooper, probably just threw a shimmy that he was going to have a go himself, shovel it on to Conor McHugh, who then popped it over the bar.
5 points between the sides now, and Castleknock have spilled the ball out over the sideline. That was Shaw. And now Brian O'Leary has a chance to run at full back. Rob O'Shea. Will he look for a 5th score of the game? He certainly will. And delivers. You could see Marvin Connolly look to the skies once more. He knew that one was over the bar straight away. Excellent score from Brian O'Leary. He's been very much the star turn here today, Coleman.
Yeah, again, just a little bit too easy for him. He turned inside, still showed great pace to come inside and get the score, but just a little bit too easy for him. Obviously that's his favourite side, so you need to work harder to try and force him back the way. But again, Na Fianna, maybe that sketchy 10 or 12 minutes that they've had has settled themselves again, just back in front now. And as you mentioned, have stretched it out to 6, so it went from 4 to 5, now out to 6. Castleknock need a couple of scores.
Nicely claimed by Stevenson, and Cian Boyle has also come on for Castleknock. Kieran Kilkenny on the ball now. And Stevenson making himself available once more. Not for the first time he's driving into that Na Fianna defence, and now it's Conor Chalk who has a chance to run through the centre. The goal may open up. It does, and he fires the ball to the back of the net. A brilliant finish from Conor Chalk. McDermott Rowe doing some nice work there, and Chalk decided he was going to have a run. Johnny Cooper and his man got tangled up, and it opened up for Chalk, and a brilliant finish, and it's game on.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant finish. The dummy run from Stevenson involved in the move twice. First to run into the space to create the pass, and then went on the outside, but opened it up for Chalk. Chalk cut back inside into the middle and kept it low along the slippy surface, kept it low on the handling into the net. Great goal for Castleknock, and just when you thought things were drifting away, they managed to get themselves back into the game.
And not for the first time, Owen O'D is down looking for a little bit of treatment, but that's 3 goal chances, and 3 very good goal chances that Castleknock have had in this game. Tommy McDaniel's tapping one off the post in the first half. Stevenson had a chance that he blazed wide, and then this one for Chalk. And I mean, eventually Na Fianna were caught.
Yeah, well, you can't keep leaving those gaps. I suppose it's probably an Achilles heel there. If you're giving away goals, you're giving teams opportunity to stay in the game. I mentioned Raheny got a goal against them in the first round fixture, which gave them a bit of a lift going into the game during the second half. Castleknock have now got that boost on the back of the goal. Is it a blood substitution maybe that's gone off there? Someone being treated on the far side, and there's a yellow card being issued to someone on the sideline as well.
So 14 minutes, just less than 14 minutes plus injury time to go in this game. 13 points to 1-7. Castleknock's tails will be up after that, but Na Fianna don't normally panic. And a brilliant kick out from David O'Hanlon is picked out by Seamus Smith, who in turn finds David Lacey. And Lacey's under a little bit of pressure, but he manages to get out of it. Now it's Rafter and Potts, who fires a kick up the line, which is caught by Kieran Redden, and he calls for the mark.
Yeah, he's effective, Fiacre Potts. He gets on a lot of ball. He's happy enough if you drift out the field. He's happy enough to support the forward play. If you drop back, he's tight and tigerish as a defender. Gives Redden a chance. Curls it over.
And straight away you could hear some of his teammates screaming, great score. Really nice finish from Kieran Redden, which more difficult on the right hand side there, the way the ball would be arcing away.
Good finish, just settles it a little bit again.
And we have a substitute on now for Na Fianna. That's number 18, Sean Caffrey. And we see David Quinn trotting off to the sideline. And Shaw is the target for the kick out again straight away. Safe pair of hands, and he's under a lot of pressure there from David Lacey, but doesn't panic. Nor does Tom Shields. Now can Castleknock get on the front foot, because Na Fianna are tracking them hard. And Morven Connolly has the ball now. He's going to slowly amble out the field, but does he have options? He does in Owen Walsh.
Great pressure from Na Fianna, well pushed up, man on man. Everyone's doing the job to not allow Castleknock out easy. It's a matter, can they break the line with a foot pass out?
Now it's Luke Swan who's come deep, and nice little pop pass and run on the angle from Rob Shaw, who has Castleknock finally on the front foot. And Kieran Kilkenny, the right man at the right time, along with Swan. And now Kilroy has a chance, but he runs into traffic, but does manage to get it back to Kieran Kilkenny. And Na Fianna, who had brilliant pressure put on Castleknock at the top end of the pitch, they're managing to do it all the way back on their own 45 as well. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, it's great work, shows great awareness of where they need to cut off the supply and not allow Castleknock get a bit of momentum. So great press here.
Castleknock have remained patient, and Kilkenny has the ball once more. They could do with a score here, 11 minutes to go. Kilkenny looking for the give and go, but Fiacre Potts tracks him all the way, and Kilkenny asks the referee, should he really have his hand on my jersey like that, and the ref isn't too bothered. Owen Walsh and Stevenson pops it over the top for goal scorer Chalk, who waits for McDaniels, and McDaniels slips just for a moment. He still has the ball. Castleknock work it back across the pitch. Niall Milmore to Keane Boyle. There are kick pass options inside. McDermott Rowe fires it to where his man hadn't run, and instead it's picked up by Conor McHugh, the full forward. And now Na Fianna are looking to work it out, and Aaron Byrne does really, really well there, because he slipped and three Castleknock players were around him, and maybe it wrong-footed them, and now we have Na Fianna on the front foot, and Johnny Cooper carries the ball, collects it nicely off Conor McHugh and fires it over the bar effortlessly from 35 yards out.
Yeah, that's a great score, both defensively in terms of how they forced Castleknock to kick the ball in, and then Johnny Cooper gets on the end of a move. Conor McHugh, who picked it up in the full back line, gets involved again in the middle of the field. Then Cooper flying through, picks it up and knocks it over the bar. Great score, and demonstrates a lot of good positive stuff for Tom Gray in terms of what they're trying to do defensively, but then how you transition to an attacking play.
Evan McSherry comes on now for Niall Kilroy of Castleknock. He initially looked to hand the slip to the man who was coming off, who instead said you have to hand that to the referee, but It's worked out okay. Evan McSherry's on the field and he'll be looking to make an impact. There's 5 points between the teams now. There's 9 minutes to go. That kick out has gone awry and Rafter's on the front foot straight away. Connects. Well, he tries to run past Luke Swan, but Swan probably couldn't resist at that stage and it eventually tugs him back, and it's a free about 43 or so yards out. Lacey has the ball in his hands and David Hanlon is wondering should he come down, but Lacey looks happy to take it on himself.
I think Luke Swan had kind of shown towards the sideline. The goalkeeper, Marvin Connolly, just got the kick wrong. Chance for David Lacey, scored a good one from over on the far side of the field there at the start of the second half. This is probably an easier one in front of the goals.
And smacks this one over the bar with a plum. So that's Lacey's second free over the bar to go along with the one he did score from play. He's had a very good game so far today. That extends the lead to 6 points. The last time that happened, Castleknock hit back with a goal, and with so few minutes left on the board, they'd like to get one of those again.
Yeah, they've been consistent, Fianna. They might have had a lag in the opening 10 minutes or 15 minutes. They'd only got one score, had a couple of wides in that time frame, and the Castleknock had those couple of chances, but they've got themselves back into the game. They've got the right guys on the ball when it was important to get scores, and despite conceding the goal, a great goal at that, they've reacted very well to it.
There's Shaw again. McDermott roll. And he releases Swan, who has nothing but Fianna jerseys to his right, and Rafter comes in to hit him, but Rafter ends up the worst of it. And Swan looking for a hand pass over the top, and it's the Chalk with a chance for a second goal. Brilliant finish from Chalk with his second goal of the day. We talked about them replying the last time they were 6 down with a goal, and they've done it once again. Game on once more, Coleman.
What a great ball inside. Chalk then roofs it again. Rafter probably jumped in the tackle nearest underneath here instead of standing off. Made it a little bit easier in terms of giving the pass inside. And in fairness to you, called it, Shane. You said the last time they were 6 points down, they got a goal.
I called nothing.
You might give us the lotto numbers for tomorrow evening.
Yeah. And a brilliant turnover from Luke Swan. Now Chalk's on the ball once more. Castleknock with a chance to punish Fianna again. Kilkenny with the ball back to Shaw, who's been so good since he's come on, but this time his shot drops short and O'Hanlon picks up the pieces.
Yeah, just wrong option every time. That they're narrowing that gap, they're creating chances, they're just maybe taking the wrong option. They've taken some great options. The 2 goals were exceptional, great moves, great finishes. But just when they're trying to add on another point, you're down to 6. Can you put a little bit more of a squeeze on Fianna? They think they're out the gap at 6 points. You're down to 3. If you cut that to 2, you give yourself another chance.
And after winning such a brilliant turnover from the kick out, now Fianna have a chance to steady down. And Johnny Cooper, he won't panic at all. Here in one of the Mayor Iskas on the Castleknock side saying we need to press. But they do have 6 minutes left.
Yeah, they're just looking to take the sting out of a little bit in Fianna. They're after, they did the same when they conceded the last goal. They managed to respond with 3 points from play. So they're just looking to do something similar here. Just, take the sting out of Castleknock, run a couple of minutes down on the clock, just make it more difficult for them.
If you're Castleknock, how long would you watch them kick the ball over and back like that, knowing we've only got 5.5 minutes left?
Yeah, I think you're accepting they're going to come some bit of the way and then see if you can orchestrate a turnover. But given the pace that they have inside and the scoring ability, it's difficult to push right up and leave those gaps.
Redden with the ball in the corner. He's been tracked by Andrew Hughes, and eventually he gets the shot away. It's a speculative one from there. It certainly has the height and the distance, and oh my God, it has the accuracy to go with it. Brilliant score from Kieran Redden.
Yeah, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he knew exactly what he was doing there. It looked like it hung, but he crafted it well, dropped over the bar. Again, a great response to the goal. Just feeds back into that Rob Shaw effort that drops short. You turn the ball over, and then Redden launches a monster score from there, which just settles the nerves once again. But think of what Johnny Cooper and Ono D were doing. They went over and back a couple of times, just took a little bit of the sting out of it, took a little bit of pace out of it, and then just injected it once more to try and create something. So there's great smarts in the Fianna team. There's a great way of trying to game manage at times. Other times maybe they were just a little bit naive in terms of how they went into the tackle there through Rafter that led to the goal. So there's some bits they need to work on, but there'll be a lot that Tom Gray will be pleased with so far in this performance.
And Marvin Connolly, he pops the ball out to Cian Boyle, who managed to secure possession, and just in the break of play there, and the ball has been worked backwards, and It's going to be a 45, or was it the man who had the ball played out to him looking to play it instantly back to the goalkeeper?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be a free in, given that he passed it back to the goalkeeper after the initial kick out. But I think he was probably unlucky. He looked to me like he got a push in the back. Referee didn't give it, and he ended up then travelling back in the way and then just called on the goalkeeper.
And just before the kick out, we had a substitution for Fianna. Angus Farrell came in for Owen O'D, who certainly seemed to be favouring his foot. He's sort of a little bit ginger on his way off.
Yeah, just looking at the far side there, it looks like maybe just the top of or bottom of his calf there into his Achilles.
So a chance for David Lacey to extend the lead once more. This would bring it out to 5 points if he could knock it over, which he most certainly does. And
on any other day, you're kicking 18 scores. It's a great score to get. There's a lot of them have come from play. They've contributed from frees as well. But when you're looking at it from Tom Gray's perspective, you're thinking we have the game won, we concede a goal, we're back out front 6, we concede another goal. So while 18 is great shooting and they've stuck to the plan, there's probably some concerns in terms of giving away some of the goals.
Really good work and reactions from Tom Shields, and he takes a little bit of a late hit there from Donal Ryan, and the referee is given a free from where the ball lands. And Tommy McDaniels, he mad to get that ball away quick, but Angus Farrell was cute enough to get in his way and make sure that he couldn't feed it inside to Luke Swan.
Yeah, he'll get another bit of a move forward from the referee there, so it'll be hopefully from a Castleknock point of view and from McDermott Rowe a tap over. But again, on the back of the goal, Fianna came with 2 scores. Just when the gap was narrowed, they pushed it out again. McDermott Rowe cuts to 4. A couple of minutes left on the clock. They'll probably need another goal if they're looking to get a big result out of this Castleknock, so they'll squeeze up on this kick out for sure.
And curls it over really nicely, so that's 18 points to 2-8. Yet another score from McDermott Rowe.
Need a turnover, Castleknock, and Fianna will work hard now to try and keep possession.
David O'Hanlon goes along with this one. Rob Shaw goes up for it and breaks it away from Donal Ryan, and Castleknock are on the front foot once more. It's Stevenson. Now Kieran Kilkenny, what can he do from here? He spots a man over the top. Coming in is substitute Evan McSherry, who bundles his way out through one tackle, has a little pop, and that ball is knocked just wide.
Yeah, probably one of the defenders there probably needs a bit of treatment. I think when he went to ground to try and stop him, probably got a knock into the head there for just looking at it again. So he tried to cut inside.
Yeah, that was Kennedy.
Fell hard there.
Might have taken a knee into the head or something like that, and it was Johnny Cooper who seemed to get back and get a hand on that attempt. We can see Derek Kennedy there. He doesn't look overly comfortable.
But again, from Fianna's perspective, you're looking at there. It's it's comfortable enough position. Okay, the kick out is given away, but just how easy then the Castleknock are able to get in behind them. Yeah, there's lots of pace and lots of movement on it. But just when they're in control, they seem to just concede possession that allows the opposition get back at them. Referee seems to be indicating as well that there's a head injury or blood sub, so there'll probably be a change for Fianna there. It looked like a heavy hit on Derek Kennedy.
And Fianna, of course, will have aspirations of winning a county title in a final a couple of years ago. But you can't really be conceding, goal chance in the first half, and that's the 4th. I mean, maybe that's more of a half chance, but that would be among 4 chances for a goal for Castleknock in the second half.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, like 18 scores is great shooting, and in most instances going to win you pretty much every game, and it probably will again tonight. But if you're conceding 2 or 3 goals, then the opposition don't need to hit as many scores as you in terms of 3 goals obviously is worth 9 points as opposed to having to kick 18 single points. So that I won't call it a soft centre by any means, but that ability for teams to get in behind them and get goal scoring opportunities is probably something they need to address if they do want to go on and land that Dublin senior title.
Well, for now at least, Kennedy has been replaced by Killian Deely, and McDermott Rowe is lining up the 45. And if he could slot this over the bar, that would bring it back to 3 points with, well, we're in injury time, but there should be a couple of minutes anyway. And he slices that over beautifully from the 45, 18 points to 2-9. And the game is still alive. It might feel like it's a small chance for Castleknock at this stage, but they are in the mix and they can press up on this kick out and hope to turn it over once more.
Well, I won't call it a dangerous lead because goal only is draw game, but certainly, from a Castleknock perspective, goal gets you something out of it. Fianna loaded up here on the left side
And instead, David O'Hanlon goes short, and Johnny Cooper, the Castleknock player, is suggesting that he threw the ball, but Dan Steins isn't having any of it, and now O'Hanlon's working the ball close to his own goal. Rafter, and has he taken too many steps there? He has, and the referee has decided to give a free in very close to goal for Castleknock, which will give them a chance to at least work it back to a 2-point lead. We are in injury time, but you know, it's game on at this stage. Rafter, was he tugged back? Maybe not, and Luke Swan took a dunt in the head or in the jaw, and he's not making too much of a fuss over it, but McDermott Rowe has a chance to pare it back to 2 points.
Yeah, probably, you know, right decision in terms of it did look like Johnny Cooper threw the ball or dropped the ball out of his hands. Dermot Rowe cuts it to 2. Is there one more in one more in Castleknock? It's a goal or nothing, I suppose, and a big possession for Na Fianna required.
Well, it's been a really strong fight back from being 6 behind on 2 occasions. Just 2 points in it now. Almost 62 minutes on the clock, and Castleknock are pushed up nice and high here. They don't want to give anything handy to David O'Hanlon, but he seems to spot Merchant on the side, and Tommy McDaniels has got his hand in the way, and now what can he do? He's going to look to run at the Dublin defender, and McDermott Rowe has it. What can he do? He can get it to Kieran Kilkenny, who runs at the Na Fianna defence, has a pop with his left foot, and it's given for over-carrying. A free out.
Yeah, maybe harsh on Kieran Kilkenny if we get to see it again. He probably had the option just before, didn't take it. Yeah, probably right call from the referee. It was when he went to throw the pass and then took on the couple of steps. Would have cut it to 1. It would have been a big last kick out for Na Fianna. Maybe they'll see it out now with 2 on the board.
And Moan Merchant is under pressure, but he has the flight of foot to get out of trouble. He did have Evan McSherry trying to hunt him down. And now it's a free that's won by Sean Caffrey.
Yeah, silly free to give away. The ball was thrown away there, left it in a late hand, running down the clock as well on Castleknock.
And Angus Farrell he's not exactly rushing here.
Probably still another minute or so on the referee's watch.
Caffrey has the ball around the middle of the field. He's certainly carrying Kieran Kilkenny, trying to do his best to force the turnover, but Lacey's on the ball now and he runs into traffic. He spilled it and he's definitely touched it on the ground, and the referee, Dan Steins, has given the ball to Castleknock, who are probably taking a lot of time over getting this free going.
Yeah, but again, Na Fianna, who totally in control, then turn the ball over again when they don't particularly need a score, so maybe stay out of the contact. Just gives Castleknock a lifeline, and the referee's going to let this run until they get a shot away, I'd say.
Now McDermott Rowe has the ball, and he's about 55, 60 yards out, and he's putting his hand up, telling players to get in there. Bit of pressure for Conor McHugh, and now Kilkenny. Now Shaw has the ball. Will he drop it in, or will he try to work something a little bit closer to him? He's after running into a lot of traffic and just throws it anywhere, and it's turned over by Dealey. And eventually he wins a free. Castleknock obviously desperate to get the ball back, but unfortunately hand away a free, and Na Fianna have a chance to steady down once more.
Yeah, just lost his bearings. Rob Shaw thought there was going to be a gap, and then when he turned, realised that there was another Na Fianna man coming behind him, panicked a little bit and fired a hand pass into nowhere. Looks like another Castleknock player going to be booked, although I'm not quite sure. Probably Stevenson, I think, might have said something to the referee after that tackle.
Can Merchant find a pass? He can indeed, and it's to Potts, and that's the final whistle. Finishes Na Fianna 18 points, Castleknock 2-10. It was very, very tense in the latter stages because Castleknock had fallen a couple of goals behind, but they managed a couple of majors and eventually made it really, really tense for Na Fianna. But ultimately, they get over the line. Tom Gray will be relieved more than anything else after that performance. Not vintage for 60 minutes for sure, but they managed to find a way through.
No, and look, from a Na Fianna perspective, it's job done. You have points in the bag. They kicked 18 scores. In a lot of instances, they were very much in control of the game, particularly towards the end of the first half. They were 5 points to the good. Then they left maybe a 10 or 12 minute spell at the start of the second half that gave Castleknock a couple of chances. They dropped one short. They hit one off the post. They could have put a couple wide from play, and then they kind of grew into the game and the gap went out to 6, and then they gave away a goal. They pushed it out again to 6 again, then they gave away another goal, and then they kind of scrambled or fell over the line a little bit. So while there's lots of positives in the performance, there's definitely areas for Na Fianna to work on. But at this stage in the Dublin Championship, they've 2 wins under their belt. They know they'll move forward into a quarter-final, and while there's work to do, it's a great place to be doing it and going into your last group game knowing that you're already into a quarter-final and that there's room for improvement. For Castleknock, they'll probably look at see opportunities missed, and they'll go into a last game needing a result to progress.
Yeah, they've got Raheny coming up in their last game, but they already have a couple of points on the board after beating Lucan. We'll have a look at the highlights from the game, and as we'd said a little bit earlier on, it was a brilliant start from Castleknock, and that was a half a chance for a goal as well. We talked about five other chances in the game, and there was an opportunity, but Andrew Hughes knocked it over himself.
Yeah, they certainly early on they had lots of pace, and it probably took Na Fianna a while to get moving. They were 2 points to good up, but then there was the Brian O'Leary show that took place across the first half. Each time he managed to get himself onto his right foot to swing over a point, but Stevenson here, who was very active throughout in terms of pushing forward and creating space. Free then from Conor McHugh had it down to 3 points to 2, but then that was 3 points on the spin that Na Fianna then got from there. Brian O'Leary curled over another one, and then Kieran Redden got in on the mix as well. Again, great work. Doran, who went off injured there, pops the ball inside, just comes around on the loop and bends it over, and so they go a point up then. And then the game is tied up at 4 points apiece after about 13 minutes. Half a goal chance there, I think, when it broke through. Kieran Kilkenny manages just to create a space, and McDermott Rowe, who was accurate pretty much all night, launched over a great score. That was 4-4 after 13 minutes of play. But then Na Fianna kicked on from there, and they got the next 4 scores again coming round on the loop. Fancies that right foot, spins onto it and knocks it over the bar, and then that's backed up with a free from Conor McHugh before O'Leary adds another score. Again, wants to get onto his right, manages to send Tom Shields the wrong way, and then just connects over there. 7 points to 4 after 21 minutes. Then there was this goal chance, so we're giving Tom Shields the benefit of the doubt, and he spotted him inside. Got the touch on it. He was so unlucky that it comes off the post and drifts out. But then the flip of that is they come down the other end of the field. Na Fianna managed to get a break off the ball, and Redden pops over his second score of the night. Response here, Kilroy comes around on a loop, put a couple of steps into it before applying the finish. That was their 5th score. But then Na Fianna finished it out. Great work from David Quinn. Comes inside to Lacey, who was very accurate with the boot in the second half. Very strong, cutting through there. And then Conor McHugh, always backing himself on his left foot, just slips inside, sticks it over. Half-time score is 10 points to 5. And at that point, it was all Na Fianna, really.
And they got a couple of brilliant scores. Booming scores from Redden. We just saw one there from McHugh, and Brian O'Leary obviously had some excellent ones. And if that goal chance had to go in, it was probably lights out. But instead, Castleknock had a chance to work themselves back into the game, which they did. And that man Chalk at centre forward, Conor Chalk's 2-1 in the second half. And Stevenson, he was steaming through that Na Fianna defence all day. And
they were just some of the chances that went awry on them. And then David Lacey just settled nerves. That was after 8 minutes of the second half. Good response again from full forward McDermott Rowe, was free of the night. And Conor McHugh again settled the nerves, and they probably kicked off from there a little bit again. Na Fianna, they managed the ball better. They were a little bit better in control, and then Brian O'Leary coming around the corner again. It's 13 points to 7. They're 6 points to the good. We said Castleknock needed something special, and they got a great run from Stevenson. Takes the Fiacre Potts away from me, cuts inside. Lovely tidy finish on the deck there. That's 1-7 to 13 points. But in fairness to Na Fianna and Kieran Redden there, knocks one over the bar, that pushes it out again, and then Johnny Cooper steaming through. That came from a turnover that Conor McHugh got in his own full back line. Pushes out the score, and then they go 6 points clear again in the 52nd minute. A free from David Lacey, and in fairness to you called it. It was rash, in fairness, coming in from Adam Rafter there. He dived in, just allowed that little bit of space, but what a pass inside. Derek Kennedy just goes over his head, and Chalk sticks in his second goal, and it's back to 3 points. Credit again, to Kieran Redden there. I probably underestimated it on second view, and there he knew exactly what he was doing and launched over a great score. And Lacey then puts it out, so it's 2-7 to 18 points. And then you get 3 scores on the spin from Castleknock, and they're creating chances. They're giving themselves opportunity. Big turnover here that gives them an opportunity again to trim it down, and it's 2-10 at that point. They just couldn't orchestrate that final push. They had a score that Kieran Kilkenny got that was done for over carry, and if you look at it again here, I think it's just when he goes to do the hand pass, And there was a lovely little shout from the sideline as well that he took steps to, you know. So that always helps when you're a referee, that someone is there to help give you decisions as well. But look, overall, Na Fianna will be delighted. Castleknock will look at some opportunities missed. Good game.
Okay, well, it finishes up so. Na Fianna winning this game eventually by 18 points to 210. Very entertaining game here at Parnell Park in the Go Ahead Ireland Dublin Senior Football 1 Championship. That's it for this evening. We'll be back again soon with more great action from the Dublin Football Championship.